Welcome to Educator.com. Today we're going to be working on operations on polynomials, and for this lesson we're going to cover addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Division is covered separately under another lesson. Okay, so reviewing how to add and subtract polynomials. Add or subtract by removing the parentheses and combining like terms. And recall that like terms or like monomials have the same variables to the same powers. So like terms have the same variables raised to the same power. For example, 2x and 6x are like terms. Y to the fourth and 5y to the fourth are like terms. Or x squared z to the fifth and 8x squared z to the fifth are like terms. They have the same variables raised to the same powers, and they can be combined. Okay, so talking about adding polynomials, what you need to do is add the like terms together. So these are monomials, and now we're working with polynomials. For example, if I have 5x squared plus xy plus 4z, and I need to add that to 6x squared plus 2xy minus 6z. For addition, you just simply move the parentheses. The signs within the parentheses stay the same. So remove the parentheses. And combine like terms. So I have 5x squared and 6x squared. So that's going to give me 11x squared. xy and 2xy gives me 3xy. 4z minus 6z is negative 2z. Okay, so that's addition. Subtraction, you just have to be careful with the signs. So for subtraction, 3x cubed plus 2xy plus 5y, for example, minus 2x cubed, minus 4x plus 6y. Okay, now for this first one, I can just remove the parentheses because there's no negative sign in front of this, so I just take the parentheses away. Now, when there's a negative sign, in order to remove the parentheses, make this addition, and we're going to apply the negative sign to each term within the parentheses. So 2x cubed becomes negative 2x cubed. Negative 4x, so if I take a negative and a negative, I'll get plus 4x. If I take the negative and apply it to 6y, that's going to give me negative 6y. Now, that allowed me to remove the parentheses, but I had to reverse the signs within the parentheses where the negative sign was applied. Okay, now combining like terms. If I have 3x cubed minus 2x cubed, that's going to give me just x cubed. 2x plus 4x, 6x. 5y minus 6y is negative y. So again, just be careful when you're removing the parentheses, when there's a negative sign in front, that you have to apply that negative sign to each term within the parentheses. Okay, when multiplying polynomials, you need to use the distributive property. Recall that the distributive property states that a times b plus c equals ab plus ac. There can be more than two terms in here, and the distributive property would apply in that case as well to give you ab plus ac plus ad and so on. So let's look at multiplying a monomial by a polynomial, for example. If I have 3x squared times 2x cubed plus x minus 5. I'm going to use the distributive property right here, and I'm going to multiply 3x squared times 2x cubed plus 3x squared. Now I'm going to apply that to this term, x, and then 3x squared again times negative 5. And this is going to give me 6x, and then since I have the same, I'm going to be multiplying, I need to add the exponents. So these have the same base of x, but I need to add the the exponents. So it's going to give me 2 plus 3. That is going to be x to the 5th. Okay, now this is going to be 3x squared times x. So this is 2 plus, this really has a 1. So that is x to the 3rd. And then 3 times negative 5 is negative 15 x squared. And then writing this out as x to the 5th plus 3x cubed. And then I'm just going to make this minus 15x squared. And I can't go any further because I cannot combine terms since these are the same variable, but they're raised to different powers. So I can't simply combine those. Looking at the first example, this is simply adding a polynomial to another polynomial. And I'm going to remove the parentheses. And since it's addition, I don't have to worry about any sign changes. I just take away the parentheses and keep the signs the same. So remove the parentheses and then combine like terms. So this is going to give me negative 3x squared plus 8x squared is going to be 5x squared. Negative 4x and negative 3x, negative 7x. 7 minus 8 is negative 1. So very straightforward, just remove the parentheses and combine like terms. Example 2 is asking me to simplify, and this time it's subtraction. So I have to be a little more careful with removing the parentheses. The first one does not have a negative sign in front of it, so I simply take out the parentheses. Here, I'm going to change this to a plus, but in order to do that, I have to apply the negative sign to each term within the parentheses. A negative and a negative is going to give me positive 2x cubed. A negative and a negative here is going to give me plus 8y. And then a negative and a positive here, that's just going to be negative y squared. Now I've gotten rid of the parentheses, I can combine like terms. I have only one y cubed term actually. So that is going to just stay by itself. This is 9y cubed. So let's look for y squared terms. Well, I have negative 3y squared, and I have negative y squared. So that's going to be negative 4y squared. Okay, that's my y squared terms. Now I have a constant right here, negative 7 or positive 7, and I'm looking and I don't see any other constants. So that's just going to stay by itself. And then over here, I actually have an x cubed term. So this is going to also remain as it is because there's nothing I can combine it with. So this is going to give me 9y cubed minus 4y squared plus 2x cubed. Let's put the constant at the end here. Okay? So again, the important point here is that when you have a negative sign and you're applying it, you need to make sure that you reverse the sign for each term inside the parentheses. Okay. Example 3, we're multiplying a monomial by a polynomial, and we're going to use the distributive property that states that a times b plus c equals ab plus ac. And we can apply that to a third or additional terms as well inside the parentheses. So this is going to give me 4a squared b times negative 5a cubed b squared plus, again, I'm multiplying 4a squared b times the next term, 6a squared b squared, and then times the third term, 4a squared b times negative 4a b cubed. Okay, so multiplying each of these out, multiplying 4 times negative 5 gives me negative 20. Recalling that if exponents have the same basis, I'm going to multiply by adding the exponents, this rule. It's a to the m times a to the n equals a m plus n. So this is going to give me 2 plus 3, so that's a to the 5th. B, this is really a 1 implied, and it's 1 and 2 is 3, b to the 3rd power. Here I have 6 and 4, so that's 24. A squared times a squared 2 plus 2 would be a to the fourth. B to the first power times b to the second. 1 plus 2 gives me b raised to the third power. 4 negative 4 is negative 16. A squared times a is really 2 plus 1. So that's going to give me a to the third. And then b, really to the first power, times b to the third is b to the fourth. Okay, now I'm looking to see if I have any like terms, and I don't. There's no terms here where it's the same bases to the same power. If there were, I would combine them to complete my simplification, but none of these are like terms, so I'm done simplifying this expression. Okay, again, I'm asked to simplify, and this time I'm multiplying a monomial times a binomial times a binomial, so it's a little more complicated. And you could go about it by multiplying this, applying it to each term first, or what I'm going to actually do is multiply the binomials out and then work with this. So I need to apply the distributive property more than once here. Okay, so I'm going to start out with this. Keeping the 4z squared, and now multiplying out using the distributive property. And recall, with two binomials, you can use the FOIL method. So multiplying the first terms is going to give me 15z squared. Now the outer terms, that is 12z. The inner terms, negative 35z. And finally, the last terms multiplied by each other is negative 28. I can simplify a bit more, and this is 15z squared. I have like terms in here, and 12 minus 35 is negative 23z minus 28. Okay, so I applied the distributive property in here, multiplying each term in one times each term inside the other parentheses. Now I need to apply the distributive property again to work with the 4z squared. And that's going to give me 4z squared times 15z squared plus 4z squared times negative 23z plus 4z squared times negative 28. Okay, so I get 4 times 15, that is 60. Remembering that a to the m times a to the n equals a, and then I add the exponents. So adding 2 and 2 to get 4. This is z to 4, fourth power. 23 times, negative 23 times 4 is negative 92. Z squared times z to the first power is 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, 4 times negative 28 is negative 112. And here I just have a z squared, no z term there. Okay, so I'm looking here and see if I can simplify further, and I cannot because there are no like terms. So today we covered operations on polynomials, focusing on addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and next time we'll talk about division with polynomials. Thanks for visiting educator.com.